Welcome to Unit 2, Lesson 6, Part 1. We're going to be breaking this up in little bits, a bit. Today I will be able to find the factors of the polynomial function given one factor in any representation. So this is the overall arching theme for Lesson 6. But we're going to break this into parts, and today we're going to focus on the division algorithm. Okay, so take a minute and pause the video and write all this down. Just pause it now and write it down. Okay, so let's start, since we wanted to talk about the division algorithm, with division. What? So let's see. Do you remember how to divide? So I'd like you to take and divide these things. 4 into 367. And what do you get? So pause the video and divide it. Okay, so as I divide, I go, okay, how many times does 4 go into 3? It doesn't go into 3, so I look at the next one. I look over one number, and now I have 36. And how many times does 4 go into 36? 4 goes into 36 9 times. So 9 times 4 is 36. I write it underneath, and then I subtract. And I get 0. And then I bring down the next number, which is a 7. 4 goes into 7 how many times? 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. And I subtract again, and I get 3. So my remainder is 3. What? So hopefully remember how to divide. That's how we divide. And what does all this mean here? What does this mean? This means what? Like, I don't know. Let's check this out. Watch. 367 equals 4 times 91 plus 3. Check it out. Do the math. Okay? 4 times 91 plus 3 equals 697, right? Because we divided 367 by 4. And we got 91. So that means that 4 times 91 is close to 67, but we had 3 left over. So we were 3 away. So 4 times 91 is 3 away from 367. And so we have to add it to get 3. Do you see that? Do you need to try it again? Well, try it yourself. So what did we have here? We had a quotient, a divisor, and a number, right? What's the quotient? The quotient is 91. This is the quotient. We'll call that Q. And the divisor is 4. That's what we were dividing by. Call that D. And then 3 is the remainder. So if we take the divisor times the quotient plus the remainder, that'll always equal the number that we were dividing into. And what do we call that? Okay? Figure that out. That's how we divide numbers. But we've been talking about polynomials. So we want to learn how to divide polynomials. Oh boy. Are you ready? Because we're going to step it up a notch and we're going to divide some polynomials. All right, so we have 2 examples here that we want to work on. And when we divide polynomials, again, we're only going to look at the leading term. So I have an x here and an x squared here. And I think to myself, how many times does x go into x squared? Or what times x equals x squared? Okay, how many x's are in x squared? That's probably not a good one, right? Because there are 2 x's, and that's not what we want to multiply. We don't want that. So remember, because we multiply the top by we multiply the number on top by the number that we're dividing by to get the number underneath. So I think to myself, x times what is x squared? And that's x. So I write, so I'm going to go x. All right? So x times x is x squared. So what I do is I take that x and I multiply by the whole polynomial that I'm dividing into. So it's x times x is x squared, and then x times -6 is -6x. And that should be an x here. That should be an x. So let's fix that really quick. All right. And then I subtract just like before. Okay? And when I subtract, what do I get? I get the x's cancel. So, and then I'm going to get, because minus a minus makes it plus, so I'm going to get 5x and bring down the next number, which is a -29. And now I think to myself, x times what is 5x? 5. So I'm going to write plus 5 on top, and then I'm going to multiply. 5 times x is 5x, and then 5 times 6 is a -30, and again I'm subtracting. So I do that, and I subtract, and I get 1. So now you're probably wondering, well, how do I write my answer? Well, I'm going to write that, the remainder. This is how we write the remainder. We write it on top, and we're going to write plus, well, what is it? It's 1 over x minus 6. Okay? So that's how we write the remainder. So we divided, we got x plus 5 plus the remainder, so it's r over what we were dividing by, r over my divisor. Okay? So why don't you guys try the second one and see if you can do it. So pause the video and try it. And while you pause it, I'll see if I can do it. All right? All right, so I'm thinking to myself right now, oh, I wrote a P. I wrote an X there instead of a P. Do you see that? So let's fix that. Can't really do much with it like that, right? So let's fix that really quick. Because we're dividing by P's. P cubed, much better. Okay, so P goes into P cubed, P squared times, because P squared times P is P cubed. So I'm going to multiply, and I get P cubed minus 5P squared, and again I subtract. Now when I subtract, I get that the P's cancel, and I have a -5P squared. Bring down the next, which is going to be a plus 20P. Okay, so P times what is minus 5P? That would be a minus 5, sorry, it needs to be minus 5P squared, so that's going to be a minus 5P. So -5P times P, oh, there's all this P on my screen. Ugh. Minus 5P squared, and then minus 5P times minus 5 is plus 25P, and I subtract all that, and when I subtract, what do I get? I get minus 5P, bring down the 26. You always bring down that next number. So that's going to be plus 26. And how many times does P go into -5P? That's minus 5 times. So it's minus 5. So we multiply that all out, and we get minus 5P plus 25. And we're subtracting again. So what do we get as our remainder? We get 1. So that means I'm going to add my remainder at the end. So that's plus 1 over P minus 5. All right? So that's how we do long division. And that's related to the division algorithm. And you're like, what is the division algorithm? So this is what it is. The division algorithm is f of x equals q of x times d of x plus r of x, or the quotient. That's q of x is the quotient, d of x is the divisor, and r of x is the remainder. So it's a function of r. All right, so r of x is actually the thing you get at the end over the quotient. All right, so that is the division algorithm. You should have that in your notes, labeled division algorithm. Okay, and that's how we write our solutions for dividing polynomials. There's something you need to keep in mind though. If you're missing a number, so let's look back here. Suppose I was missing the x term in the x squared. Sorry. Let's just look, we'll just leave it here. Suppose I had this. I had x squared minus 3 divided by x plus 2. Well, when I set this up, all right, notice that the x squared minus 3, that polynomial is missing a term, all right? So when I set that up, I have to go x plus 2 divided by x squared. Which term am I missing? I'm missing the x term. So I had to put in a placeholder, plus 0x minus 3. And we do that so that we don't make a mistake when we do our division and bring down the wrong number, and it just keeps things in nice, neat order. All right, so that's how we do it. Don't forget your placeholder, and I'd like you to try these problems. All right, so here are the problems I'd like you to try. So I think you can do it. I believe in all of you. So take a minute, pause the video, and try these out, and see what you get. And we'll go over them when I see you again. When I see you again. All right, see you later, guys.